These streets just aren't safe anymore. This town's coming apart at the seams. Gadzooks! Nice try, Tom, but this Jerry gets away again. That's just so fucking petty of you. Hey, my name's Referees, and this is Stubbs the Zombie Rebel Without a Pulse, the crown jewel of wide load games. I guarantee you've never heard of this studio, but get this. Wide Load Games was founded by Alexander Serapion, the co-founder of Bungie. This guy made Halo 1. Yeah. He left Bungie to focus on smaller games as he didn't like the increasing production costs and production times. His studio was not successful, to be honest, but it still produced one beloved game from my childhood, Stubbs. I played this a ton, but never openly. My older brother had the Xbox, not me. That meant my time with the original Xbox was limited. My older brother had school an hour later than me, he had bass lessons, he had to go to a tutor for a while. Idiot. That was when I could play the Xbox, without ever saving the game as to avoid detection. I had a lot of good games to choose from, but I chose Stubbs the Zombie quite a bit. So let's see if this game is worth digging up. Welcome to Punch Bowl, a futuristic but also the 1950s city. Punch Bowl is a hub of innovation and invention to the point that everything is done by robots and the humans get to live luxurious, peaceful lives. This is all thanks to the altruistic and generous works of a politician, your first clue that something's wrong, and a former Nazi scientist who is responsible for most of the technology. Weird way of saying the Nazis were good at building utopias, but I'm too dumb for subtext. The actual game begins with a lovely couple getting interrupted by a completely unexplained zombie. A robot steps in to mediate the situation as we did steal his hot dog.
He stole my hot dog!
Oh, that's not like me, Sonny. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your date. See, that's what I said in my head. What came out was, "Fuck you, Twinkie!" Egad, I didn't mean to get violent like that. Please, let me help you to a hospital. Again, that's what I thought. What I said was, "Your skull tastes like Captain Crunch!" It appears I've come down with a case of the Tourette's. The robot completely ignores this and gives us a tour of the city, which acts as our tutorial. The controls are simple. You can attack people, eat their brains, release an AoE fart so bad even a fetishist would gag, and we have a regenerating stomach we can throw as a grenade. The first level is a town square filled with people to dip our toes into the murder. It goes by so quick, it just feels weird to fill this massive area with like 14 NPCs. Should I? I'll save it for later. Catching the train, we arrive at a garden and Stubbs realizes that one part of him is very much alive. This is actually the mayor's mother, Maggie, and this interaction reminds me that this game is hilarious.
Better come with me, Miss Monday. This doesn't look like a safe place for you. Perhaps we can go back to my place.
Nice try, Mr. Skaglass!
This level lets us use a vehicle, and despite my worries, it controls very well. I don't know why games of this era were so intent on including driving sections, but this game makes it work, aside from one accident. Why'd I even die here? Oh what, did I break my neck? We snowball our zombie horde to sweep up the remaining guards and scientists. Stubbs somehow makes it to the middle of town and goes by unnoticed until he casually walks into the police station. I was gonna say the police force falls too easily, but we do end up captured, and all those brains give Stubbs an idea. He tears off his own arm and sends it to go get help. This is a new power, as our severed arm can sneak around and possess people. I don't remember this part being so hard. You can only possess one person per arm, so if you make the wrong choice, you're dead. I finally possess a cop in a good position and carefully make it back to Stubbs. Once again, we overwhelm the police and make it to the chief, who promised to dance on our grave, and he's a man of his word. We engage in a dance-off to the beat of classic soda shop music against this short king of a police chief. This is fucking peak. I had a giant grin during this whole sequence. We win the dance battle by blowing up the station and ourselves, launching us into the city. We also check in to see how that girl from the beginning is doing.
Ted would have wanted it this way.
I watched him die.
Yeah, like 3 hours ago.
This feels more like a cutscene from Bully. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest. Up to this point, I was getting a little nervous, like, ooh, the game's not how I remember it. It's all been narrow hallways, it felt more like a beat-em-up, but this level in downtown is excellent. This area is large and populated enough to really get that feeling of building and mobilizing the zombie horde. You can do cool stuff with a big enough army. Like here, I'm mixed into the crowd, walking forward with shields so I can pop out and strike. The control over your zombies is still restricted to a single follow me button. However, what more would a zombie horde do? Stubbs is the only one with intelligence, including a knowledge of bowling, which he can now do with his own head. This is super helpful for taking out faraway enemies who are behind cover. A group of redneck militiamen appear to oppose us, but so long as I have zombies to shield me, even their shotguns are no threat. We make it into the mall and finally make our first female zombie. It's about time this apocalypse got more inclusive. Now we just need some black people. And then again, the city is supposed to be a utopia, so probably won't find any of those. Keeping in line with what I just said, the boss of this stage is a horrifically inbred redneck. I appreciate this guy having actual thought put into him despite the simplicity of the combat. He has a 3-hit combo that leaves him open. As long as you hit him twice, he'll flinch, and you can get your full combo off and retreat safely. This could easily have been a button-mashing mess that involves a lot of running and waiting for your health to regenerate, but instead it's a simple, functional challenge. Stubbs hitches a ride from the leader of the redneck, so the next stage is a heavily guarded farm. I remember this, and true to memory, it's actually pretty touch and go for a while. Every human is armed, so you get pelted with gunfire. I remember using the possession arm a lot here, and it does prove invaluable. The main house is awesome. It's clearly meant to be a classic zombie raid on a house akin to Night of the Living Dead. Now from the zombies' point of view. That's rad. When we confront the redneck leader, he recognizes us, and Stubbs seems to purposely kill him out of spite. This is the first hint as to who Stubbs is, though for now he's still just a zombie on a sheep. Despite all my sleep, I am still just a zombie on a sheep. We end up at a water treatment plant for some reason. All the flowing water reminds Stubbs that his penis still works, and he's had a lot of water today. This level is back to narrow corridors, and it still doesn't work. You can't get a horde going because the zombies get bottlenecked like Persians, and the lacking horde controls are starting to get on my nerve. The zombies are so slow, easily caught on geometry, and randomly stop following you. I think the army commands from Brutal Legend show what this should have been. It's not a difficulty issue since you can still solo the scientist, but definitely wasted potential. Speaking of waste, Stubbs finds his way to the water treatment tanks and starts taking the biggest leak you've ever seen. According to the scientist, the whole city is screwed now that we've contaminated the water supply, so they send out their elite forces. Barbershop singers with motherfucking laser guns and jetpacks. For no reason, Stubbs begins collapsing the local dam with the conveniently placed dam destruction device. It's very simple except for a single flying enemy. I have no good way of hitting this dude. I could get lucky with a grenade if I had any, or I'd need to possess someone with a gun, but that leaves Stubbs vulnerable. Let's hope these guys don't become more common. After collapsing the dam, the city is in full apocalypse mode. Stubbs finds a TV where the mayor is trying to calm the people down while whining about his property damage. His mother tries to chastise him for that, but in a utopia, women aren't allowed to speak on television. Now the military is involved. This should have been another great level, but there's one big issue I've been realizing. This game has a lot of conflicting design. I'm not sure what this game thinks it is. The combat is too simplistic to be a proper action game, it's too linear to be a sandbox, and here we see that there are so many things designed to restrict your zombie horde, so I can't even call it an action commander game. Enemies with guns can mow down your zombies from afar, and now there are landmines. Like dozens of them in a row, almost to say, hey, we need to reset your horde for the next bit. Another annoyance I've had is that people do not turn into zombies unless they take damage from a zombie. Using vehicles or controlling soldiers is fun, but it doesn't build your horde. Zombies can be missing limbs, which Stubbs grenades blow off. Why would you give me these options when they don't help my horde? If this game focused more, it would have been a lot better, even without more time and money. Just focus. And there's no denying the core loop is building the horde. This level has multiple walls that require zombies to break down, like with Pikmin. So why do they put a landmine strip right before the wall? Anyways, we bust in the Nazi scientist's lab where he explains we became a zombie because of the fucked up fertilizer he made, so we are kind of a Nazi zombie. This boss is not so good. Easy, but not so good. Continuing the warpath, Stubbs sees a commercial of his beau saying she wants a man who brings her flowers and chocolates. We can do that.
Over there!
Oh, wooing the dames didn't used to be so hard. I don't understand this level. It's awful and glitchy. You spawn in and kill a few civilians, get in an empty car, and drive to the end of a very dangerous, diversified street, then go onto another street with a tank. I found the exit door, but the game doesn't let me through. I got checkpointed at a bad spot, so I just restarted the level. Go to get in the car again. It drives off? Was that supposed to happen last time, but just didn't? Whatever, I just need to get to the end of this street. Why am I crouching? Why am I crouching? This game doesn't have a crouch button! Okay, turns out it does, but I didn't press it. I get back to the tank, but nothing changes. They can't expect you to actually destroy a tank.
What are we gonna do?
To make a long story short, the tank has a weak spot where you can kill the pilot. No idea where that was conveyed, but that's peanuts compared to this next section. They now add snipers, so there are tons of soldiers, high damage snipers, and rocket launchers that are instant kills. I want to explain how bad this part is in great detail, but honestly it doesn't matter. This entire level is one massive RNG check after another. Any horde you make gets melted instantly, so it's best to just run. Roll the dice. We do acquire the mating totems and, using a tank, storm City Hall. When I said the barbershop singers were the elite soldiers, that wasn't a joke. They are the last line of defense, and their lasers shred our health. And fun fact, City Hall is the second and final area where you can make female zombies. Yeah, there are only female NPCs in the mall and City Hall. This game was part of a massive controversy for depicting cannibalism, but you know what it didn't have a controversy for? Violence against women. I think we should remember that. We reach the mayor and, more importantly, his mother. This is, I kid you not, the second and final lore drop of the game. Turns out Stubbs was a door-to-door salesman who managed to sell a pregnancy to Maggie. The old redneck from before was Maggie's father, who killed and buried us for fooling around with his daughter. Also, our name is Eddie, if that matters. We embrace Maggie, and like a gentleman, eat her fucking brains out. Though that might be the Tourette's acting up again. The mayor, who is our son, goes through his rebellious phase and the final boss begins. This fight is funny because I mostly didn't fight it. I hid in this back room, throwing my powers out and using the barbershop to fight him. A little hectic, but good. Very solid fight that forces you to use your whole arsenal. A little tough love never hurt anyone, but Maggie returns as a zombie to be the safe parent. We decide to elope with her and... Ah, right. We learned earlier that Punch Bowl is getting the Raccoon City treatment, but we don't care. We just want to be with our beloved and have the ugliest, most foul-smelling sex imaginable. The end. Wait. That's it? This game is 5 hours long? I don't know if I'm embarrassed it took me so long to beat it as a kid, or if I'm upset that there's barely any content. There's not really any extras either, no collectibles. I didn't look into it much, but there is an invisible score system that unlocks a few Easter eggs, but nothing tangible. It's unfortunate that this game didn't live up to my nostalgia, but don't let my very intelligent and correct statements fool you. This was a very fun game. Extremely flawed, though I'm fine with that. It's something we understood better as children. Something doesn't have to have some profound impact on your life to be good, and just because something doesn't have a profound impact on you, doesn't mean it's bad. It's important for games like this to exist. A cheaper, low-quality game can still be innovative, unique, special. In fact, it's easier to experiment with smaller projects before turning the good ideas into AAA games you invest a lot into. That was the whole point of wide-load games, and as much as I agree with that sentiment, there's a good reason modern games cost a lot and take a long time. Those extra resources help iron out the design, address mistakes or oversights. This game could have benefited greatly from some extra time and money. That's what makes Stubbs a love letter. It's not addressed to gamers, but to the video game industry. It whispers all kinds of sweet nothings about good, unique games that don't take 10 years to make or cutting-edge hardware to run. And like sweet nothings, I wish they were true. I appreciate janky games that are trying something new. Things like God Hand or Vagrant Story. But the polish of AAA generally wins out. I was gonna mention this earlier, but a major problem this game faced was that a similar game already existed for comparison, and it was just better. That being Destroy All Humans, which came out a year earlier. They share similar concepts. You play as a classic movie monster and terrorize the citizens of a late 1950s town. They even aim for a similar comedic tone. Hell, I thought they were made by the same people when I was a kid. Destroy All Humans is more of a sandbox, packed with things to do, clear concepts, and better controls. So rest in peace, Stubbs. For what you were, what you intended to be, you were good. The world just wasn't buying what you were selling. Also, there's a high chance Maggie wasn't 18 yet. Don't worry about it. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, a like and subscription mean a lot. And if you didn't enjoy, well, why the hell not? You better comment and tell me. Anyways, take care.